Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome back to another feature match commentary on the channel. So this is going to be the final top 8 feature match of the online Discord tournament before we move on to the top 4. If you guys are interested in participating in the next one, be sure to sign up in the Discord server. Link is in the description as per usual. Signups are going to end on Friday, so be sure to participate if you don't want to miss out. But we're going to see Hexar on Infernoble Igknight versus Nobu on Zoodiac Dogmatika. So let's just go ahead and get started. For the other feature matches, I actually didn't know what was going on as I was commentating, but this is my third time trying to record this because my commentary has just not been very good today. So I actually do know what happens in this one, so hopefully that'll make my commentary a little bit better and faster this time around. But we're going to see Hexar win the RPS and choose to go first. Nothing too surprising here. Opener is going to be Connector, Dolphin, Ogier, Margrave, and Gearfried. Sucks to open up Dolphin in this hand, but opening up Margrave is actually decent because by adding a Ignite off of the Isolde, you can actually search for any Fire Warrior when you scale them. So you can add like Renaud, you can add Fire Flint Lady, you can add like Oliver and stuff. And you also have Gearfried as protection. Because you're going to see there actually is a way to be able to play around hand traps here pretty effectively. And then Nobu's hand is double Fleur-de-Lis, Whiptail, Impermanence, and Nibiru. So 2 hand traps, pretty good ones at that, but it's going to still take quite a lot to beat this hand, because this hand's actually pretty good. So we're going to see normal summon of Connector, summon Dolphin from hand, and then Dolphin pitch the Ogier to take a look at the hand. She's going to get intel, but also not be able to rip anything because none of these can be destroyed. And then going to link off into Isolde. Isolde effect going to add on summon. And that actually does matter. So normally you don't negate this, right? Because I can just make another Isolde and do the second effect. But in this specific instance, it actually does matter because like these can be used apart from specifically Tatsunoko lines. So that's actually a nice utility. So it will actually end up mattering for sure. Isolde second effect's gonna mill 2, and that's gonna be impermed. Not too shocking there. Gonna banish the living fossil to summon out Gearfried next, and then there's Ogier and Grave, so you can equip that. And then puts it accidentally in the wrong zone, but Nobu's not gonna like shark on that one. So, pretty friendly game state here. We're going to see the scales being activated though, and Gallant going to be used to search a copy of Renaud. And then Renaud can be summoned and add back the copy of Durendal. And then activate Durendal, use effect, and that's going to search a copy of Oliver. And she's going to send away the Renaud to summon the Oliver because it's a level 4 tuner. And then go into Link Cross, which will summon out 2 level 1 tokens. And then link those two, the Oliver and the Link Cross, to go for Fiber. Fiber gonna summon out Plague, and then gonna link the Plague the Synchro of the Plague and one of the tokens away into a Martial and a Marcher, which will bring back the copy of Oliver from Grave, and then Synchro away the Oliver and the token into Lancelin, which can equip the Noble Arb's equip spell from your deck on summon. So this is good because like we saw in the last feature match, right? Even if she went to Auroradon, there's nothing in the main deck, like Mecha Phantom Beast wise, for her to use the second effect. So like there's not really value at that point. Like there was a line where you could like go for Roland instead of Lancelin here, and then use like one of the tokens to make Savage, but there's nothing in hand to stack with Plague Spreader. It'd be like make another level 8 Synchro. So I still think this is actually like a really, really good play, just given the fact that you are playing this card. Because what this allows is also for Fiber to stay on the field, so it can tag out later. And then Joyeuse can go ahead and be equipped from the Lancelin here, and then add Renaud back to hand. So that's good follow-up there. And then synchro those 2 away for a copy of Savage. And then Nobu's thinking on effect, and he lets it go through. And you'll see what he was thinking later on. Gonna equip the Isolde, and then use Oliver to equip itself to the Gearfried. And end phase, or end of main phase rather, he's gonna activate Fleur-de-Lis, and she's gonna like to actually negate this because it's not actually being boosted by like any attack values. So you could actually just go Fleur-de-Lis, crash, and then that's like a way to force it anyways. So if he had done this in response to the Savage activation, he could chain the Nibiru, which is what he's about to do here. And then like that would have either forced her to not negate the Fleur-de-Lis, or the board gets wiped. So obviously we just have to let Fleur-de-Lis go, and then it will end up crashing, or again just forcing it to negate. and then you get a lot further this way. So I think it was a bit of a misstep there on Nobu's part. But we're gonna see top deck of Tenki here. So that's gonna search for a copy of Whiptail, and keeping in mind that Infernoble has complete hand knowledge of Zoodiac's hand, so that is going to play out pretty nicely here. Just like, it's so nice to be able to play and just know what your opponent has, just because like Dolphin and Smoke Grenade exist. Fully Release is going to be activated in hand, and that's going to be negated by Savage. And from here, it's like hard to force Gear Free since it can't be targeted or destroyed, so it's not like you can try and Trident force it and then banish with Whiptail. So this is where like having that extra Fluid Release on the field would have been very nice, because then like you could just force things beforehand and then use Trident Whiptail to like deal with the Savage. So you're gonna go into Borbo and then equip the Whiptail from hand, and then Whiptail gonna attack into the Fiber. And in main phase 1, actually, it's gonna be Fiber tagging out into Roland. So this is like another like resource advantage generation. Whereas if you just use like Roland plus a token to go Savage, like a MPB token, you only get one search this way, or like one resource added back to hand. Gonna attack into the Roland after it uses its effect to, of course, search for the end phase, and then just gonna let it get banished off the Whiptail. Go into Trident. Trident in main phase 2 gonna attempt to pop the Savage, and you can pretty comfortably negate with Gear Free because you know the rest of the 2 cards in hand. So you just go ahead and negate that, and that's going to be the end of the game. So yeah, a bit of a very slight misstep is going to definitely result in the game ending there. Although, to be fair, Noble had very good follow-ups, so it would have been hard to win regardless. But we're going to see game number 2 happen now, and it's going to be Nobu going first on Zoodiac Dogmatika. So opening hand for Zoo is going to be Waking the Dragon, Whiptail, Ecclesia, Ash, and Fluid Release. So it's pretty good. It's Trident plus Punishment and Fluid Release, as well as Ash, so that is 4 interruptions. And Waking the Dragon is there for the side deck, of course. And then we see Noble's hand be Heritage, Double Durendal, Ogier, and Gamma. So Gamma is actually good at dealing with the Ecclesia. It's like a 2-for-1 in this kind of case because it turns off the Fluid Release and denies access to Punishment. So we're going to see a normal summon of Whiptail, and that's going to turn it into Borbo and then Trident. Obviously, you don't want to put more stuff because you want to play under 5 summons just to not lose to Nib. Ecclesia is the fourth summon, and that's going to be met with a Gamma here for sure. And Ash is going to be responded to, actually, which is pretty good because Ash is not a great hand trap against Noble to begin with, especially if they have Dolphin. So you might as well get rid of it and preserve your 2 other interruptions, whereas if you just let the Gamma resolve, you're only ending on Trident Ash, basically. So you have Trident, Fluid Release, and Punishment this time, or this way, so it's basically a better use of resources. Just have to be mindful of the Gamma. But it's not like too hard to, keep that in mind. For turn, she's going to draw a copy of Striker, which is decent because it can be special summon just going second. Going to activate a copy of Durendal, and then use its effect to add a copy of Fireflint Lady. Obviously, he has to not use his Trident until there's a monster on the board. Heritage of the Chalice is going to come down next, adding a copy of Renaud to hand. Now we see Ogier plus Renaud. Ogier going to go ahead and dump a Gear Freed from deck, and then Renaud can summon itself to add back the Gear Freed. And then here, we can see a Durendal in hand as well as 1 in grave, so you can like equip to an opponent's monster, and then summon out the Gear Free to play around like the Trident. So you can activate Durendal, targeting the Ecclesia, and then banish the Durendal to go ahead and summon the Gear Freed here. And then on summon, we're going to see Punishment being used. That's going to target the Renaud to destroy it. Sending the Entis, and then Entis is going to pop the Gear Freed. Gear Freed going to negate the Entis. And then Resolution, Trident's going to pop the Gear Freed. Next up is going to see Fireflint Lady being summoned, and then go into a Sold. Sold effect, that's going to be met with a Fluid Release. I like this, just negating to on summon effect, because it negates the card entirely. So you're putting them on having another extender. But like you saw the first game where like letting the search go actually did matter because that was the second Ignite. So here you definitely like want to adapt to that, which is definitely a good response on Nobu's part, just like adaptation. Battle phase, go attack over Trident. This is the only thing he can kill anyway. Plus, even though it gets banished, it turns on the Gamma, so it's like decent. Past turn, and we're gonna see a Whiptail being added, or not added, being drawn for turn. He's under punishment, so he can't really push that hard. He's just gonna go battle phase and attack with Ecclesia and Fleur-de-Lis. He's not gonna use the Fleur-de-Lis to play around Gamma, so this should actually just be 4,000 damage because he never declared the effect. But I think she just assumed that it was gonna be used and probably just wouldn't have Gamma there. I'm just gonna pass turn. She draws a copy of Ogier. And I think, so what happens here is she's going to end up setting the Ogier. But I think you just have to go for combo. Because you just special the Striker first and then normal the Ogier, and that's full combo. Granted, she doesn't know that he doesn't actually have any interruptions, but I've been in this situation a lot of times where I ended up playing like way too safely and I've gotten punished for it. I think, especially in this kind of format, where you get to a relatively simplified game state, you just kind of have to go for it, right? Just have to, summon everything, make another Isolde, hope it all pans out. And honestly, if she was able to full combo, it would have been game. So definitely a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. Hindsight, obviously 2020. We're going to see him draw a copy of Triple Tactics Talent. So now that he's not under punishment any longer, he can just go ahead and play out his hand. He's going to normal summon Whiptail, and that's just going to immediately force the concession. Yeah, just going to definitely be game there. So well played to Nobu there for game number 2. We're going to see game 3 now. And then we're going to see Hexar go first, aka Infernoble. Her hand is Double Connector, Smoke Grenade, Durendal, and Ogier. So a lot of normal summons, but Connector obviously is really nice to open. You'd rather see multiple of it than none of it in a lot of cases. And plus Durendal is just an extender. Not ideal to open Smoke Grenade in most cases, but it's also not the worst card to open if you're able to play. And then his hand is Barrage, Ash, Talent, Ram, and Evenly. So Ash is going to be immediately forced out by the Connector, and Evenly just going to get ripped. This is why I'm a big fan of hand traps over go second cards against Noble specifically, because they're always just going to be able to look at your hand and rip stuff and just dismantle it before you get a chance to use anything. But we're going to see a normal summon copy of Connector that's going to get Ash. You have to kind of use it there. And then activate Durendal, use it to grab a copy of Fire Flint Lady. And then summon Fire Flint Lady. And then use its effect to summon a copy of Ogier. And then Ogier is going to actually dump a copy of Renaud. This is a really heads up play, because this is going to matter 5, 6, 7 steps down the line. We're going to see a link off into Isolde. Isolde effect on summon is going to search for a copy of Gallant. And then the second effect is going to mill 2 to summon out TG Striker. And then link away for Link Cross. Link Cross summon out 2 level 1 tokens. And then synchro away into Martial Elemental Marcher. And then Marcher effect is going to bring back the Striker. And then going to link away the Fiber and the Marcher, or sorry, the Link Cross and the Marcher to make Fiber. And we see Fiber actually summon a copy of Violent Sphere here. So this allows you to basically target a monster that you control and then equip it if it's sent from the monster zone to the grave. And then you also get to send it to the grave as an equip spell to add any equip spell back from your grave to your hand. So because she milled the Joyous, she definitely has the foresight to add this back, equip this, and then add this back. It actually, it doesn't, add back to hand, but it equips to the monsters equipped to, but effectively achieves the same thing. But yeah, Joyous can add back the Renaud, which is definitely, you have to think a lot ahead in advance to be able to make that play. Gonna link those away into an Auroradon. I'm channeling to a Bylon Sphere. Find that pretty funny. Yeah, summon out 3 level 3 tokens, and then gonna go ahead and use Sphere to equip the Joyous, which can add back the Renaud. And then from here, you could go for a copy of Roland. Roland effect to grab during the end phase. And then equip Smoke Grenade to the Renaud. Or not the Renaud, I'm getting my names all confused right now. Equip to Roland. And then Auroradon going to be able to actually pop the Smoke Grenade. So now she can take a gander of that hand and rip the Evenly out of it. Special summon Renaud. Renaud can add back the Living Fossil, which was the other equip spell that was sent. So this is full value of the entire equip spell lineup here, which is really cool to see. We're gonna see Renaud and the token to go into Herald, And we're going to see Roland and another token go into Savage, playing around a top deck Lightning Storm. Has to be top deck at this point because the hand is known. Gonna equip the Auroradon, and then Fossil, bring back TD Striker. This way you can go for Tatsunoko and go for Charles. So this is like the full combo, and it rips 2, just because of the hard drawn Smoke Grenade, which is like very convenient in this instance. And we're gonna see Ogier being equipped to the Charles, and then end phase resolve the Roland to grab Gearfried by milling a copy of Durendal, and then Charles is going to equip a Smoke Grenade from grave and an Oliver from deck. Then Smoke Grenade gonna rip Talents. I think is the best card here. I mean, these all kind of force disruptions, but just Talents is the one that's the most of a pain to deal with, in my opinion, because you can deal with the other cards pretty well. Manobu actually drew another copy of Talents, which is pretty funny. It's probably not going to matter in the long run because there's 3 disruptions and 3 cards here. Gonna activate Barrage. That's going to be met with a copy of Captain Roland and Grave. And then Roland is going to equip to Charles, and then Charles is going to pop the Barrage. And then from here, where's a Zeus when you need him? It'd be pretty cool to like try and force Zeus through. He's going to go for a Borbo, and then going to go for a copy of Drill Driver Respinato to attack over the Herald. And then that's going to die, and then main phase 2, just going to set Talents. Would have been negated by the Savage. A play possibly could have been to like go for a random Zoo and then go for Trident to like try and pop the Savage. If the Savage was one that negated it, then you can like go for the Vespinato and then go attack Herald and then try and use Talents. But like realistically, Talents taking something and like leak it away doesn't actually do a whole... It doesn't accomplish that much. Because there's so much follow-up in Gearfried and Roland is still resolving. Or no, sorry, that was game 1. I'm getting my games confused, but there still is Gearfried, and like you have so much follow-up here at this point. It's like gonna be tough to win from that position because like you can't clear both of these with Talents, even if that line happened to go exactly the way as described. But we're gonna see Charles at the end phase go ahead and grab Durendal. This is even more follow-up. Gonna draw a copy of Tactics of her own, and then use a Durendal. This can add Venot. This is definitely the end of the game. There's no interruptions here. Gearfried gonna go ahead and summon itself, and then summon a copy of Renod, and then he's just gonna go and scoop. So if Talents drew 2 cards instead of taking something, the cards would have not been good to draw anyway. So yeah, that is GG's for sure. Pretty good match actually. I think it's possibly the best match of the entire top 8 so far. I can't say about the rest of the top cut because I haven't seen the matches, but well played to both players. Congrats to Nobu on making top 8, and Hexar are going to be moving on to top 4 with Infernoble Igknight. But that is going to do it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, as well as any thoughts or feedback in the comments. Subscribe for more informative Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on Discord, Twitter, or Twitch. All the links are in the description as always. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.